Good evening, everyone. My name is JMcDowell, and it's my privilege to share my action research proposal focused on strengthening teacher-student relationships to increase engagement at Ken Thompson School for Girls. Over the next few minutes, I'll walk you through the context, purpose, research design, and expected outcomes. I approach this as both a principal and a practitioner, with a focus on real-world improvement grounded in relational leadership. At Ginn Thompson School for Girls, we serve students from early kindergarten through 12th grade. Our foundation is the Matrix Creed: respect, responsibility, and safety. While many classrooms thrive, our internal data showed variations in engagement and relational tone. The goal was to understand and systematize the practices that make students feel connected, valued, and motivated to learn. The problem we faced wasn't a lack of care or effort, it was inconsistency. Some classrooms fostered strong connections while others learned more transactional. This inconsistency created unequal experiences for students and frustration for families. Our task was to move from individual relational strengths to a structured, school-wide practice that every teacher can confidently sustain. Our key research question asks, how does implementing a structured relationship building framework for teachers improve student engagement and academic outcomes at Ginn Thompson School for Girls? Essentially, we're examining whether daily connection practices can drive measurable gains in engagement and achievement across our campus. The purpose of this study is to strengthen teacher-student rapport through a deliberate framework based on the look, think, act cycle. The approach combines quantitative data like attendance and performance with qualitative insights from surveys, focus groups, and teacher reflections. The outcome we hope for is not just better data, but a healthier, more consistent school culture. This framework is built around three evidence-based strategies: the 2x10 method for consistent student connection, weekly positive family contact, and restorative conversations after conflict. Together, these practices are small, doable, and powerful. They create a consistent rhythm of relationship and repair that can sustain engagement long after the study concludes. The literature is clear. Relationships drive learning. Research shows that emotionally supportive interactions have one of the highest effects on academic growth. When students feel seen, respected, and challenged, they invest more effort. Emotional safety and belonging aren't extras, they're essential to how the brain processes and retains information. The theoretical foundation blends culturally responsive pedagogy with a transformational leadership. Teachers become architects of connection, while leaders model reflection and collaboration. Using the look, think, act cycle, we ensure that our change process is iterative and responsive, not static or top-down. Our methodology follows the look, think, act process. First, we look by gathering baseline data on engagement and relationships. Then we think analyzing patterns, and reflecting as a community. Finally, we act by implementing targeted relational strategies. Each week includes a short reflection cycle to keep improvement ongoing. The study includes 20 teachers, about 200 students, and their families. We also engage administrators, our instructional coach, and our school counselor for feedback. We ensured voluntary participation, anonymity, and transparency with all stakeholders. Everyone's input shapes the process. Our data collection is both quantitative and qualitative. Surveys capture engagement and connection. Observations track relational tone using an established rubric. Behavior and attendance data provide supporting indicators, while journals, focus groups, and family surveys bring voice and depth to the numbers. The data will analyze through descriptive stats and thematic coding. Numbers show us what changed, how narratives reveal, while narratives reveal why and how those changes occurred. The integration of both types of data allows us to build a complete story of impact and improvement rather than relying on isolated figures. The results, though hypothetical, suggest that engagement rose by over 20% with noticeable improvement in classroom participation and academic performance. Behavior referrals dropped significantly, and families reported stronger communication. Teachers shared that simple, consistent connections built trust faster than they expected. In conclusion, this study reinforces what we intuitively know but must now operationalize: connection is the curriculum. When teachers build relationships first, engagement and achievement follow naturally. These results align closely with decades of research, emphasizing the power of belonging, affirmation, and restorative practice. The, impl- the implications are practical. At Gann-Thompson, we plan to embed a 2 by 10 and weekly family contact as standard practice, build restorative conversations into professional development, and make connection behaviors a feedback focused in coaching. For future studies, I hope to explore long-term effects and how these practices impact teacher retention and climate over time. Through this process, I learned that reflection is the engine of improvement. The look, think, act cycle gave us the structure to move thoughtfully, test small changes, and adapt quickly. It turned our intentions into tangible, observable shifts in culture and practice. Look, think, act turned intuition into strategy. Action research created continuous reflection. Protect time for feedback and reflection. Relational practice equals instructional excellence. Here are the references that grounded my work. Each source reinforced that emotional safety, cultural responsiveness, and consistency in relationships create the conditions for the rigorous, joyful learning. The synthesis of these ideas helped shape the structure and goals of this project. In closing, I want to emphasize that at Gann Thompson, relational practice is instructional practice. When teachers connect, affirm, and repair, students thrive. This project is not just about data, it's about purpose. We honor the Matrix Creed by ensuring every girl is seen, challenged, and supported. That's how we build a legacy of excellence rooted in connection. Thank you.